Will the Philadelphia Eagles pass rush be as dominant this season as it was just a season prior? This has been kind of the headline that has dominated every one of my social media platforms. If I scroll down those feeds, I mean, there's just nothing but arguments going back and forth between groups about this topic. Now, I think at the heart of this is more so the interior defensive line. That seems to be the area of contention where some people are pointing out that the Philadelphia Eagles will be replacing Javon Hargrave and Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, while the additions have been 2 rookies in Jalen Carter and Moro Ojomo, and then 1 veteran player in Kentavious Street. While I like those 3 names I just named for you, I do think that there's one internal guy who's already been here that really and honestly I just think needs a little uptick in his opportunities. That's going to thrive. That I think you might see this elevation into the narrative like you saw with Javon Hargrave. People forget Javon Hargrave wasn't this crazy, incredible interior pass rusher until he really got to Philadelphia. It took him a few years to kind of get that momentum going. And today's topic is about a guy that I think is very much underrated in Milton Williams. All right, y'all. Let's get it. What's up, Cerebral Football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. When you look at Milton Williams, it's easy to forget people for overlooking him. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's not this big space-eating, just absolutely destroy double teams type interior defensive lineman that we all remember from the game. But what he is an athletic freak. Sure, he's 6'3", about 285 pounds when he came out of the combine. You probably would imagine in his NFL career, he's probably playing around 290 pounds or so. Yes, he has smaller arms for an interior defensive lineman. This is not a 33-inch plus arm reach guy. He's 31.5 inches in the arms. Everything about this young man, when you looked at him physically, would tell you he probably struggles in run defense. But that's just not factually true. On the 2022 season, this young man was the 15th highest graded player according to PFF versus the run. As a matter of fact, if you go over the last 3 draft classes since 2020 and you actually then take a look and zone in, this guy is the 3rd highest graded interior defensive lineman versus the run. He only trails some really big names here like Derek Brown of the Carolina Panthers, Taquan Brown, and then you have Mr. Milton Williams. This guy is a tremendous run defender. And to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of reason to have optimism in Philadelphia that when Milton Williams is on the field, when Jalen Carter is on the field, when you look at that aspect of things, the Eagles have gotten drastically better versus the run by subtracting Javon Hargrave out. And we all love Javon here in Philadelphia. He's an incredible interior pass rusher. But that's the thing when it gets to Milton Williams. We've never really been able to fully take advantage of this young man's physical gifts as a pass rusher because the opportunities have been pretty sparse for him. And let's be honest, even in sparse opportunities last year, when you get past the big names, right, the Fletcher Cox with the 7 sacks, the Javon Hargrave with 11 sacks, the Brandon Grahams with 11 sacks, Josh Sweats with 11 sacks, and then, of course, the Haason Reddicks with 16 sacks. Who is that next name on the list? It was Milton Williams with 4 sacks in those limited opportunities. When people ask me, who's your surprise guy? Who's the dude that's about to go off in this defense for the Eagles? It's Milton Williams for me. I think this young man is an incredible athlete that is being slept on, and people forget how well this young man tested at 285 pounds. Yeah, that's underweight. I get it. Yeah, but you know what? He also put up numbers that resemble the things that you would see from a defensive end, guys. You're talking about a 4.6 40 with a 1.6 5.10 split. Good luck if you're a guard getting this guy off the snap. 34 reps on the bench. The young man's got some strength, and I question the relativity of bench press reps translating to actual play strength. I get it, guys. But at least we know this young man is very physically fit. We can honestly say that. 38.5-inch vertical with a 121-inch broad jump. So if you really look at that 1.6 5.10 split, 38.5-inch vertical, 121-inch broad jump, this guy is up there with the top end of defensive ends, edge rushers in the league in terms of the athletic testing profile playing on the interior with this type of strength and speed. And then you look at his lateral movement and just the type of athlete this young man is. A 4.33 short shuttle and a 6.963 cone from a 280-pound plus guy. Milton Williams is one of those guys that is almost to this point like hysterically slept on and overlooked. This guy is such a good player, even if it's just a rotational guy who's about to get an uptick in his snap count. I don't care. I think this dude is going to have a major impact on what this defense can do. And I know that people will look at this and say, like, Steve, the interior defensive line last year had 24.5 sacks. 11 sacks coming out, from Javon Hargrave himself. And you have two rookies, one veteran guy, and one dude that you think is more talented than people think. Are you confident that you can replace this type of production? My answer will be, we'll see. I mean, it's tough to say because we're going to have pass rushers coming in waves. It's going to be really hard to predict exactly where all the numbers will trace out. But what I can say is even if it doesn't look like last year, where last season we had 38 sacks coming from the edges, 24.5 coming from the interior defensive line, 3.5 from the linebacking core, 3 sacks from the secondary. Even if those numbers get distorted a little bit, we've seen Nakobe Dean gets used a little bit more off ball as as a pass rusher. Nolan Smith, if they start playing and moving Nolan Smith all around and he starts counting more towards the linebacker spot in terms of the sack production, even though we know he's an on-ball Sam linebacker in the system, but if they get creative with him, right? If they start playing a lot of these box safeties we have, I can't predict how the sacks are going to come. I can't predict that the Eagles will get, 69 sacks in the regular season and over 70 sacks when you include the postseason. I don't know. But what I will say is, when I look at this team and I analyze the depth that this team is putting out there from the pass rush situation, from Hassan Riddick to Josh Sweat, who are incredible athletes, to Nolan Smith to Brandon Graham, who is one heck of a second line, to a guy who, if he hangs on this roster and still on this team, is your fifth edge rusher, and Derek Barnett, is incredibly good. And then I pair that up with the fact that we have a guy in Jalen Carter who I think is going to be a Warren Sapp level player in this league. Jordan Davis, who is getting more and more in shape and conditioned for an NFL season, and is another one of these guys that at 330 pounds, and we're assuming he cut down to that weight, at 330 pounds, guys, he moves the way that humans aren't supposed to move at that size. Then you mix that in with today's topic, the guy that we've been talking about today, in Milton Williams. Yeah, I can't predict exactly where the sacks are going to come from, but I don't think that we're crazy for suggesting that we might once again lead the NFL in sacks because we are just that talented and we are just that deep in terms of our edge rushers. And then you add in the fact that we have an aggressive play caller coming in here, and we know that you could tell from the way that we shape things with our roster, they want to be aggressive from all levels of the defense. We didn't just go get post safeties. We didn't go get guys and go back there like a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, read things, diagnose it, jump in front of the football, and take it away. No, we went out there and got guys that bring a little physicality. We went out there and got guys that are not uncomfortable playing around the box at the safety spot. I honestly think that this team is so much better defensively than people understand, and I honestly think that people are going to be really shocked at just how good of an interior pass rusher Milton Williams is in this NFL. That's my opinion. I think that if you want a name that's going to thrive on this 2023 NFL season, Milton Williams, I think, is your guy. I think he's going to be very, very good. But I want to know what you think. What do you think about Milton Williams, and who is your guy that you don't think is being talked about enough on this Eagles defense that is about to really excel? All right, guys, I appreciate y'all so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. And, I'll see y'all on the next video.